This is from the AITA subreddit and is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Refusing to Pay the Difference in My Kid's Bank Account? What? When my kids were born, I opened them a savings account, and both me and my mom put the same amount of money in there monthly. My daughter had been working since she was 12. She did little jobs around town until she was 14, and since then has had an actual job. She didn't touch a penny from that money and put all of it in the savings account. So obviously she has more money than her twin. When my kids went to college, the same one but different degrees, we sent them money monthly that was enough for their basics and some extra. If they wanted anything else, then they needed to take it out of their bank account. They got access to it at 18, which is when we stopped putting money in it. My son did take some money out of his bank account. It wasn't much, but after 2 years of college, where he took at least a little bit out every month, there's a noticeable difference between his and his twin's accounts, especially since she got a part-time job and put about 50% of that money into the bank account and had the money she made before that. This weekend, my kids were home from college. Their college is only 2 hours drive from us, so they're here most weekends. And we were at a family dinner at my mom's when my son heard my daughter talking with my brother about wanting to start investing. And he joked about how they have so much money anyway, so what does it matter now? And she jokes back that because of that mindset of his, she has more money. He just made a sarcastic face and went back to his conversation. But when we went back home, he asked my daughter to see her bank account. She was confused, but showed it to him anyway, and he got very mad. He was yelling so much nonsense that I still don't even know what he said. But in the end, he told me that I needed to put the difference in his account since it's not fair that she has more money than him. My daughter looked at him like he was dumb and said that she added money from her job and never took any out, and that's why she has more than him. He yelled that he didn't care and that they should have the same amount. I told him that I can't afford to pay the difference, especially as I'm paying for their college, and that if he wants more money, then he should work for it. He went red in the face and stormed into his room. He hasn't talked to any of us yet, and my daughter has told me that he won't even look at her and that even his friends had noticed that something is wrong with him and came to ask her about it. I don't know what to do. I don't want him to distance himself from us and his friends because of this, but I can't and am not willing to pay the difference. His sister worked hard for that money, and it's not fair for her if he will just get it too. Question is, am I the astronaut for refusing to pay the difference in my kids' bank accounts? Hell no. In my opinion here, I think you as a parent have an obligation to take this further though. He's acting like a little entitled shit stain right now. And this is where you need to highlight the lesson that he's learning right now and say, look, she has more money because she worked harder and saved. That generally is how life is going to work, kid. And you're not always going to be there for him to ask. Like, who is he going to ask when he's an adult and his sister is much more successful in life because she's actually put forth effort? Who is he going to approach at that point and be like, I want it too? Who? The government? Good luck. That's not how life works. And teaching him that right now is your responsibility as a parent, right? So his poor future wife, Miss Krish. Yeah. Well, this is the time when he can get that shit straightened out, right? They're in college. They're 18. Oh, well, they might be older than 18 now. It sucks that he doesn't know this yet, but this is the time, and probably because he's in college, this is the time where you don't have a lot of time to really drive this lesson home before he's out there on his own. OP. So I would make as big of a deal of it as possible. Pain creates change, right? This is pain, dude. The pain that you're feeling of not having as much as someone else might require some change so that you never have to feel like this again. What change does it require? How could you approach this differently so you never have to feel like this again? Let's talk about that. Take that approach, OP. Show your child how they can change things to never feel like this again, because it obviously was enough pain for them to just recluse, right? Friends knew something was wrong, stormed off. He's at least 18 years old. It was an awfully dramatic response here. Maybe it's enough pain. Maybe. But if it's not, I think you got to drive it home a little bit more and be like, look, if you're 36 and you pull this same shit, who do you think's supposed to make it right? Life is never going to be fair. Nobody's ever going to have the exact same things. And the amount of effort that you put into something will determine the amount of output you get out of it. It's just like class. If he takes a test and gets a shitty grade, but someone sitting next to him who studied harder got a good grade, does he go to his professor and say, I want the same grade, even though I didn't do the work? Which begs the question, OP, in your kid's life to this point, have you spoiled the shit out of him? Why at 18 plus does he still have this mentality if he wasn't raised this way? Got some work to do. I know that much. There's some work to do. He needs to learn the lesson right now. And preventing him from learning that lesson is unfair. It's a detriment to him as an adult later in life. It's also a direct detriment, an immediate detriment to the daughter who actually worked hard.